Let's talk about two different ways that you can easily get banned on Adobe stock. These are things that are going to be extremely important from now to the future and really even in the past. And it's becoming more and more serious as time goes on. There's two kinds of concepts. Both of them underline under the concept of spam. Adobe stock is currently and always been banning people for spam. But really, what is spam? Well, there's a lot of different categories of spam, but the two most common currently are images that are deemed the same with no unique value, and images that have inherent errors. So let's kind of go over both of these images, and I'll show you live examples of each. So here I have a picture, or pictures rather, that I search for that typically tend to have a lot of errors in them. And I searched here for portrait hands, and specifically, if you look here, and if you have any kind of experience with AI and things like that, you know that there are a lot of issues with images of hands, right? AI type images of different hands. And they do have a lot of errors, a lot of issues. In fact, I was actually just looking on the first page, and I noticed that there were some photos with some actual legitimate errors. Now, if you have been creating some different images, right, and there are some small issues, and you're thinking, you know what, it's going to be fine, let me just upload it anyway, think again. You know, I've asserted this, and I've talked about this in the course, the Super Stock AI course. But I'm going to say it here again, and it's still something relatively serious. You know, if there's certain issues with an image, really try to pay attention to them and try to either just not upload it entirely or have a method to fix it. You know, for me personally, I personally just wouldn't even upload it, but I'll give you an example. This has nothing related to do with hands, but let's look at this picture of a monkey. So this is a monkey, right? And clearly there are like these warts on the monkey's face, and even on their head, the monkey's head. This is some sort of error. There's no indication in the title that there's warts or some sort of condition, right? These are errors. Now, this is a subtle example of an error, but if I really tried to nitpick certain images like this one, this clearly has issues, this image. If we look really closely to the hands, we have pictures of thumbs here, and then this is what's supposed to be pinkies, but they're disfigured, they don't look proper, they look odd. Everything else in the photo is perfectly fine, but the hands are the messed up part. Now, I searched for hands because, like I said, hands are typically some of the biggest issues when it comes down to uploading images, or contributes to the biggest issues on stock photography, because they're using different softwares, or you're using different softwares that could potentially contribute to that. And the truth is that AI has not gotten to the point yet where the hands are just perfect. And it's been a lingering issue over and over and over again, where hands are just not depicted perfectly 100% of the time. Let's look at this image. From the far, it looks really good, but it's actually not. Let's actually look very clearly. The baby's hand here on the right, or on the left rather. These are like three fingers that are completely disfigured, and then something over there that doesn't even look like a finger, it looks like a nub. And then here we have what seems to be the hand of the baby, but it's all blurred and smashed up together. It doesn't look like a proper hand. And then here we have another hand supposedly supposed to be holding the baby's hand here, but the gap of where the thumb and the index finger reach, there's supposed to be a hole or a gap there. There is no hole. It's the rest of the baby's hand there. That's an issue. These are different examples of images that could be the very reason that you lose your Adobe stock account. And I've said this before, but what's the purpose of doing all the work and then getting banned off of an image or two? The reality is it a slim chance that you'll get simply banned from one image? Yes, there's a slim chance, but let's be real. The people who are uploading images with errors like this, they're not going to have just one or two errors on their account. They're probably going to have 100, 1,000. You know, a good percentage of their portfolio is probably going to have some level of errors. And these errors, right, are considered by Adobe Stock's policies spam. Any kind of error in an image that doesn't look proper, doesn't look ideal, doesn't look normal, right, then that's essentially what it is. that is a spam type image, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're uploading an image that won't get any downloads and just holds up resources on the platform, because this is an economic problem to begin with. And really, it comes down to the basics. You're uploading images. You want those images to sell. So does Adobe Stock. The images you're uploading, they want them to sell too. But if the images are deformed and there are, basically things that are messed up on the characters, whether it be the hands or the eyes or whatever, that's literally just taking up space. So it causes in some real serious problems on the platform, especially you think now people have only been really going hard on this AI plus, stock photography for about a little over a year, maybe 2 years, right? Which is really not that much time. If you look at things in the bird's eye view, all it takes is another year or 2, 3 years for things to go completely left for people who have been contributing every single day, working super hard, and they're not going to remember the errors of their past. We've seen this happen to other platforms as well, where people will upload, do different things, and they'll get banned off of something that they did months and weeks in the past, and they'll sit there and say, well, I don't know why I got banned. I shouldn't have never got banned. Well, the reality is that there's a reason for everything in this business, and you're just not going to be able to get away with this kind of stuff forever. It's just not going to happen. So that's the first thing that could potentially get you banned, is these deformities in certain characters, things that just don't look right. That is, like I said, considered spam. Let's go over what the next topic is. In fact, I took some research. It took some time to research this and taking a look at different types of images. And I've even looked up a question that somebody had here of somebody who also got banned. And this is uploading images that are almost pretty much identical to other images. So there's actually a outline here, or an example of images that are similar in motif, but not exactly the same. Adobe Stock is not against images that are similar, but they are against images that are the same, and that's where things kind of run into a problem. So let me kind of explain. So here, these are 4 images that are similar, very similar, but these are healthy and successful variations, okay? And it says here, placement to successfully create useful variations. These are successful variations of one another. If the image was shot from different angles, it could be regarded as the same, and you shouldn't have too many variations of them. Adobe Stock doesn't specifically say how many, but they say don't kind of put too many variations that are the same or very, very, very similar. Now, you can have a similar image if the items are kind of moved around in the image, and it might be similar to another image, is perfectly fine, but you have to realize that when Adobe looks at spam, they're not just looking at the image. They're looking at the titles, the tags. So if I have different images that are similar, but there's one small element that makes them different, it's probably a good idea for me to mention what makes it different in the title and in the tags, right? I should spend time and energy doing that. Now for me, and you guys know, I've been using the stock scanner tool, so I don't really need to go out of my way to add keywords or add tags that differentiate, because the tool is going to take that lift off of my shoulders. It's going to take care of that for me. But for people who aren't using the tool, you're probably going to have to spend some time and some energy thinking of how you can essentially differentiate between image and image that seem somewhat similar. So these are the things that you want to pay attention to. In fact, like I said, there was somebody here who was saying that he gotten banned or blocked, whatever you want to call it, for uploading images that are similar in motif. In fact, I'll actually read what he says. He says, I'm an Adobe Stock contributor for a few years now. So he's been uploading for a few years, guys. That's pretty sad, With the new AI image generators, I got too excited, got carried away by uploading multiple similar motifs. Now, once again, uploading images with a similar motif is not a problem. However, if it does not have any kind of variation or successful variation, that's when real issues are being caused, and that's exactly what this person did. It says, which resulted in my account getting blocked. I've sent an email response to a requested email. I'm wondering if there's any hope I will get my account back. I would have stopped spamming earlier, but I didn't realize that I was breaking the rules. So here's the thing. Before you even read the rules and regulations on Adobe Stock, just think logically from a financial perspective and put yourself in Adobe's shoes. If you were a company called Adobe, would you want your user to just upload variations of very, very similar images and there's no real variation in the titles and the tags, no real compositional difference? You wouldn't want that. So put yourself in the company's shoes, and this is something that I try to do all the time with different companies that I'm uploading to, whether it be Redbubble, Adobe Stock, Vecteezy, it doesn't really matter. I'm putting myself in the company's shoes and I'm saying, okay, what can I do best in this circumstance to kind of make sure I don't raise any red flags or create any problems for myself? And the best thing that I found is, firstly, if you do create 100 variations of an image, 1,000 variations, those variations should be indicated in your titles and in your tags. There should be some level of difference, okay? If the images, and you created plenty of them, are similar, you can publish them with time. You don't have to publish them all in one shot. And I've said this before. So, for example, if I create 1,000 different portraits of people in a business type setting, in an office space, I don't have to upload all 1,000 instantly. I mean, I'll upload all of them, but I don't have to publish all of them or request for publishing all of them in one shot. I might do 5 or 20 or 10 with a mixture of other images and other categories and slowly bring them to market. But like I said, with different keywords, with different titles, some variation to it. And once again, I'm not sitting there worrying about the variation too much because I'm using machines to do that. I'm not thinking of it manually. But think about it. If you're uploading for years, would you want to have your account lost for literally kind of things that almost seem like nonsense? The answer is no. You wouldn't want to. So just pay attention to these things. It's definitely something to pay attention to. Even when you're creating your images, I use the automation tools to create my images for me, and it helps out dramatically because I'm not always creating my own prompts. Because if I'm sitting there and I'm creating my own prompts, the images are going to relatively come out similar because I'm a human brain. But if I connect it to a machine brain, well, then the machine is doing the thinking for me, and I can command it to create different prompts with different outputs that will absolutely look different at the end of the day. And if they look different, then the keywords come out different, everything is different, and so therefore I am protected. All right, so that's something you want to pay attention to. Hopefully this video helps out. I'll leave links in the description to the course if you want to check it out. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.